Hello there, you beautiful spiritual empath. You, how are you? I hope you're well. How's that heart of yours? I hope you're taking really good care of it. Um, I just had a very interesting conversation. It was via text with a friend of mine who is also very spiritual, and she is very, very knowledgeable, or she is more of an education. She does more research. So she has more education on politics than I do. And we've been having these very interesting conversations lately. And she's always been a very political person, and she's had her views and her perceptions. And again, she does all the research more than I do. Um, and we haven't always agreed on what sides of the spectrum. At least here in the US, you pretty much have a two-party system, right? You have the Republicans and then you have the Democrats, right? And so I've been noticing energetically is what's going on a personal level, which does affect the collective, which is why I'm actually talking to you about this. On a personal level, you have your value system, correct? I have my value system. She has her value system. Stand by 1 second. As I was saying, um, so the energy that is going on right now out there, and when I say there, I mean out in the electromagnetic field of the cosmos, of the universe, is one of getting very, very honest. So, like, radical honesty with your values. And our values show up in so many different ways. And if we use our values as a system to drive and move forward, it's going to change up our energy. I'm going to give you an example. So, like I was saying, my friend has a lot more education, research. She's been way more of a political person than I have. Generally speaking, typically, and I'm even going to be so bold as to say, up until now, I had thoughts, points of views of my politics, correct? As a matter of fact, how long ago was it? I want to say it was maybe about 7, 8, or 9 years ago. I changed from being a Democrat to independent. I just wasn't liking what a lot of the Democrats, who are now way more liberal. So, like, there's a spectrum, right? So, there is a spectrum, and there are different levels of truth, right? Not that there are different truths, but there's one truth, but there's different levels within the truth. And I wasn't agreeing politically anymore with the levels of truth. I wasn't comfortable anymore with the levels of truth of being a Democrat. And so I became an independent, and that felt more right to me. And it was something that I would be able to see both sides about. I typically am a big picture thinker, and I like to see all sides and then weigh in on my point of view, my perspective, my perception, whatever. So you take facts, right? You take truths and you look at it from all angles. And what I'm not the only one who has been experiencing this, but COVID was really a very big disruptor in unity, at least here in the United States. Politically was moving in a direction, and then this terrible, horrible disease that killed millions of people all around the world went ahead and became a political pawn. And so that disrupted, that was old Earth versus new Earth, right? I mean, everybody's life, if you lived in 2020, you and you're alive today, you have survived a huge human trauma, and we are all involved in it. Now, the newbies, those new souls that came into their Earth suits after, after or during, they don't quite have the concept of the before and after, so they don't have anything that they can compare to. Yes. So what that has done is it has brought out disunity, at least in the United States. I can only speak for the United States because that's where I live, but maybe and perhaps this resonates with you as well. And I was never a political person. I had the same value system, but I just wasn't as political. It wasn't to me as important. It didn't infringe necessarily on my rights, even though technically, the Congress, the House of Representatives, the president, all of these characters in this play, right? In this big play, all of these characters didn't necessarily affect me personally as just Terrie, one human, one individual, because I basically follow the rules, right? Especially the golden rule. Do unto others as you want done unto you. It's still the freaking golden rule. Still. And what we saw and what we continue to see is this disruption of unity. And that is being done to separate, to segregate, to cause panic and fear, because if there's panic and fear in someone who has authority, also known as the government, has authority, it means that they can impose their views, their perceptions on you and couch it in advice or safety or whatnot. And when you are scared, you are vulnerable. And when you are vulnerable, you are triggered into survival mode. And what is survival mode meant to do? It is meant to keep the physical human Earth suit alive. So currently, there is the energy of separation. Now, it is being biggered. You like that word, biggered? It's being amplified, okay? Because the way energy works is the more you place your attention and awareness on something, that's where your energy goes. So if there is this fear that is being caused and you're in survival mode, you're going to give your attention to that because you have to be very selfish to save yourself. The problem is that fear isn't always truth. As a matter of fact, it's rarely truth. Let that sink in for a minute. So if these higher levels of authority, known as the government and even media, are feeding people stories, narratives without any actual truths, that, or not just that, but different levels of truth, then that is going to scare the human Earth suit, which is designed to protect itself. So it's going to flare up the ego. So you basically have a bunch of egotistical humans running around trying to survive and save themselves. And what that is it's separating, because it is a manipulation. Energetically, you can manipulate energy. Now, manipulation isn't good or bad. It just is. It's an act. It's a transmutation. It's a transformation. It's a movement, a change of subatomic particles, right? So if we are being manipulated into the energy frequency of fear, we're going to give our power away as a result of trying to stay alive. However, if we do not use our discernment, our intuition, which is incredibly powerful, we will feed into those energies. We will feed into those stories. We will feed into those narratives. And yes, there is good and evil. Again, up until now, pretty much led a very Pollyanna kind of outlook. Everything was positive until I understood and learned how energy works and what energy truly is. And energy is not just crystals, and it's not just Reiki, and it's not just getting your a psychic reading done. They're literally light waves of energy and information, and there's information carried on light waves. And if you don't understand how energy works, life is going to be very hard for you to understand as a spiritual empath, why you keep being knocked around into believing stories or narratives, and then having that visceral, that I don't even have human words that can describe it, but into that place where you are activated into survival mode and it's all about you and nobody else. That is separating. Why? Because there's a bunch of somebody else's, right? It's not just you. There's like billions of people on this planet. And then in the United States, I don't know what the population is, but there's you and all those other humans, right? Right? So what is happening is all of these storylines are being fed to us. And if you don't do the research and you don't open your mind to expanding your consciousness to something, hearing all sides, not just one side, and not trying to push your side on somebody else's side, then you get the full 360 image or view perception of something. And then you get to discern whether you want to feed your energy into that or not. Here's the thing, not everybody has to agree. We can agree to disagree. But humans right now are in such an evolution as a collective because not many people are doing their own individual work. Soul evolution is hard. And some of us are being taught the hard way. I know I have. I know there are times I am constantly reminded that I'm actually asleep and not awake. And I'm not talking about being woke. Being woke is a negative manipulation of being awake. Because when you are awake, you are all inclusive. When you are woke, you are separating because you are judging instead of discerning. Okay. Personally, I'm struggling with this. I am struggling with this left and right because I have two really big, huge values, which are freedom and sovereignty. And in the United States, that's what the United States is built on: freedom, sovereignty to do what you want, who you want, practice what you want, dress however you want, whatever. You do you, boo. But don't you dare make me do something just because you need it or you want it or you think it's right or wrong. I'm sovereign, which means I get to choose. And because I'm free, I can express that choosingness, that chosen, whatever. But the amount of judgment and the separation that is happening right now is a test. It is a test for humankind. And it's showing up in politics, and it's showing up in the media, which are hand in hand. It's showing up in the medical field. It's showing up in the educational field. Right? And it's getting harder and harder for us not to step into our values and live our life through those values. And those values require a filter of truth. And energy is truth. Energy is just a bunch of subatomic particles that move at a certain pace or speed in a certain pattern, which is why it shows up the way it does. Right? My energy shows up as Terrie because my subatomic particles are moving at a speed of Terrie, right? And in the design of Terrie. But your energy is going to be different. So I can't make you be me. I can't. No matter how much I try, I can't make your energy be my energy. And because of that, I cannot make you see things or experience things the way I do. And that is the beauty of our individual souls, almost like a soul print, right? Like a thumbprint. And unity means acceptance of the fact that there's a different energy field that is not your energy field. And it's okay. And you don't have to make somebody accept your energy field, right? There are certain universal laws of energy, like repulsion. You have law of attraction and law of repulsion. You can push someone away, and it's okay. You can disagree with someone, and it can be okay. Things don't have to be torn apart. Okay? What's coming up is shadow. What is shadow? Shadow are the darker, denser, heavier, slower moving vibrational frequencies. And because they're slower and heavier and denser and thicker, they're going to be more at the bottom. And the only way for those to be cleared out is to let the light in. And when the light comes in, it is a higher vibrational frequency. So literally, it's pushing that denser frequency up and out. And the only way to deal with the shadow is with the light. And all light is energy. And all shadow is energy. And you can only transform, alchemize, change energy with energy. So the fact that, let's just say politically, there's such a disparity and it's continuously being separated, it's an opportunity for a healing. What is the healing? What's the transformation? Because you can't have healing without transformation. So what's the transformation? The transformation is coming to each party's value system. And each parties it's becoming more and more obvious that they have different value systems. So what is this doing? This is making you, the human, take a look at what your individual value system is and get in alignment with that. And once you know that, you have a much better awareness of knowing thyself. And when you know thyself, you know that you are calm, you are safe, everything is okay. And there's no discrepancy, there's no imbalance in regards to the golden rule. Do unto others as they do unto you. So I am learning, just like you are learning, that the reflection of the political system that is happening, at least in the US, again, please understand, I'm only speaking about the US, and the media in the US, and seeing it from a perspective of discernment, like, is this the truth? Is this real? I better go out and do my own work and research and learn and talk to people versus just blindly going with the information because they're an authority figure, because we want to feel safe and we're afraid we're going to die. So we have to look to somebody else outside of us to make us feel safe. The answers are here, and the answer is in the divine. Go to the divine. Go to the divine if you need that authority, because the divine will reflect it back to you. So as I'm having these conversations with my friend, we're starting to notice that we're starting to align with the same values, and she's actually learning me. She's educating me on many, many things. And up until now, I was not a very political person. And now I'm becoming a political person. And there's a part of me that's shameful and embarrassed about that, because there are so many opinions, points of views from a political perspective that is pushed and shoved and makes people really uncomfortable. And I don't want to be one of those people. But the thing is by nature and in this carnation, my soul is a truth seeker. So I'm constantly having to learn, relearn, go back to basics, research, study, talk to people, because I could be wrong. Holy cantaloupe. I could be wrong. What? Yeah, I'm a Leo. I know. I'll admit it. I can be wrong. And my values now of freedom and sovereignty are truly being tested within myself so that I can take a stand and be that light unto others, and show them that they have the safety and security, that they can take a stand for themselves as well, no matter where they are in the political scale. Right? So when somebody is going to be very staunch, very rigid in their opinion, and not give the time of day to hear something different, or to perhaps be enlightened and see a different perspective, I am not going to give them my energy, because they are incapable of holding both positive and negative, which is anding your human experience, not oring. Because when you or, you separate and divide. And when you and, you unite and you come together. And that's where respect is built, in unification. So politically, I'm an independent, and I have been embarrassed and feeling shame and scared to actually share this information because there's a lot that I do agree with on both sides of the spectrum. We live in duality. Remember, the third dimension is duality. You can't have one without the other, right? But this is that opportunity to see, where do you align with your values? And what is coming to light is that the political system has different values, which means they do have different energetic frequencies. So you need to find out where you match up and follow that stream of well being, because then you will start to attract more of your authenticity through experiences, synchronicities, through relationships, through career, through finances, all the things. And it still comes down to being radically honest with yourself. And the only way to become radically honest with yourself is to know thyself, to have those values, and do as much as you can. As it's a practice, okay? It's a practice. Do every action, make or take any action that you do from that value system. Over and over and over. Every single thing you do comes from that value system. You will create an entire new identity. You will live in a different reality. You will have different timelines. You will not experience what the rest of the world is experiencing. It will feel like you live in a totally different world. But if you know thyself, your energy is in alignment. And the only way to do that is to consistently keep coming back to yourself and stop letting those outside frequencies, those outside stories, those outside narratives have power over you. So I'm actually learning how to be this new person who actually has a political point of view. And I've had a lot of shame around it and a lot of fear around it. But I'm also not being authentic when I'm in that place. So for me, politically, I'm seeking, and especially because, we're about to start this whole, which I'm not looking forward to, this whole round of, for voting. I forgot, political season. I don't remember what it's called. Anyways, we're about to start that, and that's going to be hell for a spiritual empath unless you know thyself and you do your work. I got to do my work, right? This is not easy stuff. We are evolving from old earth to new earth. But the energy right now is just being so radically honest with yourself, with your values, right? And if you can hold both, you don't have to lose friends. You don't have to lose family during these hard times. Because humans have a lot more in common than just issues that separate. So where do we place our focus and attention? We place it on the areas where we unite. That's where we end up feeding our focus and attention and our energy. We're going to get more of that. So we get to choose where are we placing our attention and our energy. I know that I have been feeling like I got to be more in alignment. There are certain political issues where I cannot negotiate my value system because, again, it comes down to knowing thyself, right? So I'm definitely going through this change and this shift. And this process definitely entails change. And so I may be jumping out of energetic frequencies or wavelengths with some of you, and I may be jumping into new people, right? But I can't change the world unless I change myself. I can't be of service and help someone else if I'm not in alignment where I know myself and I take a stand for what it is that I believe in, and that's sovereignty and freedom, right? Of course, it shows up in so many different ways in our life. But as a way of being more in my truth and to be of service of you and to you, not of you, but to you, it takes me my work, right? So I intend on serving you and continuously serving you from a place of strength, from a place of courage, and from a place of radical honesty with a sort of sass and humor. But it could create change. I don't know. I'm up for the experiment. I am curious. And if it's something that doesn't resonate with you, by all means, take care of your beautiful soul, right? So you do you, I'll do me, and I'm not going to push me on you, and don't you dare push you on me, right? But I'm definitely hoping that maybe our relationship, my audience, my follow it's even so weird to say followers, like, oh, I'm a preacher, but my people, I'm just going to say my people, come along with me and journey with me and also educate me. Because I don't know everything and I'm a truth seeker. And so I do need to constantly be learning. Also a rising Sag. So the more information I get, the more it's like, ooh, I get to learn. Right. So if there's anything that you were able to get out of this message is I really, really hope that you begin to practice radical self-honesty. Find your values, live your life from that value system, and you will notice your reality change around you despite the narratives, which really are distractions. I mean, the latest distraction is the alien thing. Oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, story after story, this and Trump, this and that, and all of this distraction, distraction, distraction. Use your brain, use your intuition, do the research, learn and discern. That is my prayer and wish to you. Because if you start doing that, you will change the world. And you, my beautiful spiritual empath, you are here to be of service to others. You are here to help other humans find themselves through whatever work you do. So don't forget that and take care of that beautiful, wonderful, dynamic heart of yours and stay connected. Let's see where this journey takes us.